All right, welcome to the Butler Township Board of Trustees, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 meeting. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag, United States Republic.
All right. Moving on to item 3 on our agenda is the approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of March 25th, 2025, and the workshop meeting minutes of April 8th, 2025. Gentlemen, do you have any comments on those?
I have no comment.
None. I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 25, 2025, and workshop meeting minutes of April 8th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thein?
Yes.
Ms. Pruszynski?
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 4, public comments. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. You must come to the podium and speak and state your name and address for the record, please. Anybody in the audience like to speak this evening? No? Thank you for attending. All right, moving on to item number 5, the administrator's recommendations. Ms. Vogel.
Okay, first, I have Resolution 25-17, a resolution requiring registration of transient vendors and the option for residents to prohibit solicitation on their property in Butler Township. This resolution will rescind a prior resolution that was approved in 2000 for a prohibition on solicitation, and it will be in accordance with ORC 50594. This will require transient vendors to get permits for every 90 days. They're soliciting in the township, and that will be per individual, not per business. And then also residents can put up a sign or post a sign on their property for no solicitation, and the officers can act if there is property.
So I got is this for businesses too, if you own a business?
Yes, you can also.
So if they're across the sidewalk? You know,
If they're
can't they be between the sidewalk and the curb right now?
We're
Like at
talking
Miller Lane?
about
Like coming into
canvassers.
business.
Canvassers as opposed to.
I know, but I didn't know if it carries
Yeah,
over to
so
It wouldn't be this.
this is different.
Okay,
It would
okay.
be like businesses going door to door to sell.
I
This
got
would
you,
be-
I got you.
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
would exclude like nonprofits or.
Which we had a problem with last year, right? We had people going up knocking on doors right in neighborhoods.
We have it constant.
Yeah,
We get
constantly.
complaints from some of the different
Okay,
neighborhoods of door salesmen, is basically what it is. So
okay.
this doesn't address the transient population that's protected by.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if we sign this into law, what are you envisioning, Erica, as far as a communication and distribution plan for the signage and things that we talked about with the in our workshop?
So we are getting ready to put out the spring newsletter. I would like to have that information in there talking about it, and we will make available, I'm not sure yet if it'll be a actual sign or a sticker, but I've got a couple design options. Basically just has our logo on it, says no solicitation, has the resolution number, and then has the police department phone number on it. So it's kind of like, I don't know that people are going to want to put a sticker necessarily, so it's kind of deciding what the best option is as far as the signage goes. But something somebody can place either in their windowsill or in their front door so that it's visible if somebody is coming to the door. And we will, get that information out in the newsletter that those things will be available. And then residents can also, if they have a no solicitation sign that they picked up at the store, they could use that as well. But it just would have to be posted on their property.
Okay. All right.
So,
I was just going to clarify that any of our residents that are in HOAs as well, obviously this doesn't have any effect on HOA specific restrictions or things along those lines. Is that correct?
Like if they have anything against solicitation and
Yeah,
their
because
HOA?
a lot of HOAs will set up like a no solicitation, kind of a rule in their neighborhood. So what if one of these vendors says, well, I'm authorized by Butler Township, and they go into that neighborhood? Are they authorized, or if the HOA prohibits entirely, are they then completely prohibited?
Two types of HOAs. So there's one HOA where the street is all private property, and in those circumstances, if the HOA sets up that there's no soliciting in the private sector of the private property, then people can't go into those areas. Those are like completely gated communities. Those are private streets. Whereas HOAs that are set up like in Turtle Creek, which has an HOA also, public streets, this would pertain to any of those public street areas.
Yeah, so I guess just to clarify, like Dave's neighborhood right here, technically like is an HOA, correct? It's not. Okay. New York Way. Yeah, so New
But
York
those
Way.
are public streets.
That's a public street.
Street, right.
Got it.
The public streets would pertain to anything with a public street. So a HOA that has private streets, completely gated, they can trespass anybody, kind of like a private community, basically what it is.
Okay.
Homeowners. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, so I guess I'll just say for you guys and then also for anyone that's watching online, so as we do this, it's going to be important for us to get the word out to everybody if they don't want anyone to be coming to get those stickers up. So that's good.
And so you're saying that would suit, if they had a HOA situation and it was public streets, or this rule would supersede anything that they would put in their rules in HOA?
So it's kind of tricky the way that the rule works, okay? So an HOA that is completely private, that has private streets, that's a gated type community. Actually, just one, right? Right, that's all private. So at the beginning, when they come in, if they put a sign at the beginning of that gated community that says no solicitation, that would be appropriate for all of those houses back in there. You don't have, each of the individual houses do not have. So that's, because that's all private property. It's all completely
Gotcha.
private property, including the street. Whereas the other HOAs that we have, public streets, each residential unit would have to post that they did not want.
Okay, all right.
That's how it applies.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Now,
Okay.
now I think the HOA could actually require the people within the neighborhood to post those signs if they wanted to. I mean, that could be something.
That could be, but that's completely
Yeah,
outside
that would have to
of
be-
what we would do.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, I have a couple questions just because canvassing and soliciting can be such a perceived infringement of privacy and on someone's personal property, but does the ORC or is the township going to require a background check for the individual?
No,
We cannot.
We cannot conduct background checks on
I did get
attorney-
a legal opinion, yeah, and he said that the ORC specifically does not allow for it. So the ORC, I mean, we can regulate time, place, and manner, but he said that doing any kind of background check would be a very big stretch. He said we can provide identification, I mean, they would have to provide us identification when they're getting the permit. We'll have that information. Require them like to wear, something identifying their company and those sort of things. But he said as far as a background check that we couldn't require.
I just worry about You know, like we talk about with Dave's neighborhood. It is a lot, but it isn't. It allows somebody that we don't know what their, no disrespect to canvassers and their job, but we don't know who they are, and we're going to be permitting them to come in. But it's just a concern for me that they can see what our routines are. Garage doors open. So I'm not really in favor of allowing them to be permitted to come in.
So the difficulty becomes, just to kind of make this clear, is that if we don't pass this, that means that any restrictions. Passing this puts some restrictions on. Now, if they lie about who they are, if they go outside of they can be charged criminally.
So like falsification,
Hmm? Yeah.
whatever else is
Yep.
attached to,
Right.
I'm calling my friend to say, hey, come rob this.
Yeah, there's
The
all,
city,
there's all,
whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
if we can determine that down the line. They
Right,
provide fake information, as far as registering. If they're found to clearly posted, no solicitation, they go up, they can be, warning, but then they could also violate that.
good explanation. A question you may have. So how will people, when will they be able to register? How will they do it?
They will have to come to the office to do it. They'll have to come in person.
Okay, and will the canvasser be giving a current list of addresses not to approach?
We have opted to do the sign itself, just so there's not two different systems going on, and that it's clear for the officers, so they know what to look for when they get on the property, and the resident, the canvasser knows they're walking.
Okay.
It's clearly posted that way. There's not two different areas to look. We just felt like it would be safe, like cleaner to do it that way.
What if we have someone that doesn't want to put a sticker on their door?
Yes, as
Efficient.
long as it is posted where somebody would see it approaching the front
Like
door.
in plain view?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's very helpful, thank
Okay,
you.
Yes. Yes, they will have a copy of what we provide them, yes. Where's your permit? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and each individual, if a business brings in, yeah. Yep.
Okay, this is also something that can be addressed with limited home rule.
Thank you for that.
Can you,
Thank you for that.
can you explain that, Mr. Brush?
Probably not. Seriously, it's just something you can enact. So obviously, as a township, we are a creature of the ORC, meaning we can only do what the Ohio Revised Code says we can do. Under limited home rule, we're able to do things as long as it doesn't conflict with the ORC.
So potentially a background check or something like that may be something
It's not
that,
conflicting with the Ohio Revised Code. So I did that very well.
Nope, that's helpful.
that it is the up to amount of $150. So we did the highest amount that you can do. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's per person, not per company.
Right.
So if
Each
somebody is
individual.
training somebody, both those people have to be registered, just like your.
They probably wouldn't do that.
be-
Yes.
All right. Any more questions, gentlemen?
Just a request for a lot of those signs when they come in. I would like to distribute around Imperial Hills.
Same. All right. Other comments?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 25-17, a resolution requiring registration of transient vendors and the option for residents to prohibit solicitation on their property in Butler Township.
I'll second it.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Tyne?
Yes.
Ms. Pruszynski?
Yes.
Okay, next, resolution number 25-18, a resolution authorizing the adoption of police department policies and procedures for video records requests pursuant to ORC Section 14943B1. I know we've talked about this at a couple of our workshops, but we now can charge for video records because they do take a lot of time for our police lieutenant and staff to do any kind of redactions when it comes to minors and anything like that. So this would provide for a for the policy on that. Also, in your packets was the form, how we estimate the time and what the cost of that permit is going to be. And so people would have to pay for it upfront when the video is requested. Anything else you want to add, Chief, on that?
Maximum amount that we can collect is $750. And that's per video. It's not per incident, but it's per video. So car records 3 different videos, our cruiser cams. Wide angle lens video, and then there's also seat video. So if somebody requested all 3 of those, we could charge them up to $750. How much time it takes to prepare those videos for the individual. Victims of crimes. Certain other conditions and things like that. This will be beneficial. I think it'll cut down on a lot of the TikTok requests for videos. Requests and things like that. All of these things. We get requests like that all the time. Cut down on a lot of that.
Any further questions, gentlemen? Vogel, are you?
Liz?
All right, I just have to say thank goodness for that change, because that is such an extremely time-consuming process. So I'm glad that someone recognizes it. All right, so do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 25-18, a resolution authorizing the adoption of police department policies and procedures for video records requests pursuant to ORC Section 149.43B1.
I'll second.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Tyne?
Yes.
Ms. Pruszynski?
Yes.
Okay, lastly, a motion to set a public hearing for zoning commission case 2-25 for rezoning on Benchwood Road and North Dixie Drive, and case number 3-25, text amendments related to hotels in the RCS1 zoning district, both for our trustee meeting on May 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Any questions, gentlemen? I have none. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to set a public hearing for zoning commission case number 2-25, rezones on Benchwood Road and North Dixie Drive, and number 3-25, text amendment related to hotels in the RCS-1 zoning district for the May 27th, 2025 trustees meeting.
I'll second.
Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Thein,
Yes.
Ms. Pruszynski.
Yes. All right, moving on to informal business. Chief Porter?
Put into your mailbox, police memorial on May the 2nd at 11 a.m. This year, we are honoring Jan Schmidt, who was a fallen Butler Township officer. 6. His wife and son will be the survivor speakers at this year's memorial service down at Riverscape. The program starts at 11 a.m. Hoping that we can and then second, May the 6th, Coffee with the Cops from 9 to 11 over.
I have no report. I have nothing to report.
I just want to let everybody know, we sent out our energy consultant sent out letters this past week, so those are hitting mailboxes for the new energy aggregation renewal. The rate, which would begin in June of 2025, is 9.199 cents per kilowatt hour, which is, a few cents higher than we are paying currently in the current agreement. Customers that are in the aggregation program will go back to the AES rate for just 1 month, the May rate, because it's going to be lower than the rate that we're getting through the aggregation program. So I believe it's 8.5 cents, the AES rate. So residents will go back to the utility for 1 month, and then beginning in June, they will start the new aggregation rate. And so we've gotten several questions regarding the changeover, and people, are able to go on apples to apples on Energy Choice Ohio and compare rates. And there are lower rates out there. There's also rates that are higher. This was the best rate that our advisor could get, being that we're going with kind of a 3-year program like we talked about in the workshop. The first year is that fixed rate of 9.199 cents, and then the next 2 years are going to be a rate plus whatever the capacity charge is going forward for those 2 years. So we're communicating that also in the newsletter that's coming out, put some social stuff on social media. We'll be doing some more updates on the website just to make some of those questions that I'm getting frequently this week, quick to answer. People can go to the website and get all those answers. But really, people can opt in and out of the aggregation program at any time that they want to. The letter from Archer, I think, has an initial window of opt-out for, the deadline was May 21st, I think, or something like that. But really, at any time, residents can opt in and out. So it is their option to come into the program or out of the program. Any other questions that you guys have?
So do you have to do anything if you don't want to change, they'll just do it for you?
Right.
Okay.
You'll be automatically enrolled. If you're not in a contract with another supplier, you'll be automatically
Okay.
enrolled into the program. And the only thing you have to do if you want out of the program, you just have to either send in that slip or call Archer Energy, and they'll remove you from the program.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, I just think a comment more than anything, the 3-year program is important to highlight, because I think when I was reading that letter, it was definitely, that wasn't clearly communicated in the letter, and so it was a little bit confusing, because then I had residents reaching out to me asking questions like, hey, I'm looking up and I can find this 12-month rate that's, in the 8s rather than, what the township is doing, why have you guys agreed to this, whatever. And I think the 3-year thing is the important piece to say, like, hey, we've locked this in for 3 years with all of the, quotes on ongoing inflation and the way that everything's supposed to to get together. So you might be able to get something locked in from now until 2026 of May, but then you're going to be, then looking at like, okay, what do I do? So I've been trying to help residents kind of think through that a little bit. Like, hey, we opted to go for something that was a longer period rather than something that was, immediate, so that we could have, that aggregation over time and hopefully, be able to save people a lot of money. But yeah, that letter, when I first read it, I was like, this is not clear.
Yeah.
So-
I wish I got to approve the letter.
Yeah,
But
we're
I did
gonna
not.
ask you that tonight, yeah.
It's like they put our logo on it and then didn't ask for our approval. So
No.
Yeah,
not our
so,
favorite.
We could have folks refer to that meeting video, correct?
Yeah, yep.
So if they wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Why
could put
3
that out
years
there. I could put a clip of that on the website as well. And like I said, just some frequently asked questions, because a lot of them are the same.
It's
Same
the same
ones.
thing.
And a lot of people are still positive about it. Like, I want to stay in, I don't want to leave the program, but
Right, just the rep had said some key phrases that made it very important for us.
right.
Somebody wanted to.
Yep.
And I do want to say, by the way, thank you, Erica, in the office for fielding
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so I know that there are a lot of people and residents that have opinions that would be reaching out and talking about all of those things. So I'm grateful for you guys navigating all of that and, helping to try to explain things, probably answering the same questions many
Hey, you're
times.
great, people.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I know, and Trey Bell, they keep saying, you can send them our way. Well, it's like, well.
We're not gonna do that.
We're not going to do that.
No. Yeah,
So, okay.
all right.
You have something?
I would still send it in if you don't want to opt in, because there could be, if you got the letter, your current contract may be close to ending. Okay. Yeah, I would still send it in or call Archer just to be sure that you opt out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just as a double check, I would do it. I would opt out just to be safe. Yep.
All right, Fiscal Officer Brush, happy birthday.
Yes.
Do you have any comments for us this
Just to
evening?
report, we are sufficiently collateralized. Also watching the budget, and I encourage everyone to pass in the House affecting the school district, as you know, being passed on the school board, that could greatly limit our ability to plan, greatly hurt government in the long run if you can only have a certain carryover, especially because, as you know, we do constant on funding at best. Prices never stay high. Please watch that. That transferred over to us.
Yes, the school district sent out and encouraging to contact.
Tie your hands on long-range planning. How can you do anything? How could you float a bond to build a new building, a new firehouse, or anything? That's all I have.
All right, Trustee Jackson.
Yeah, so I guess the only comment that I want to say is specifically related to grateful for Erica's work on working through the resolution on the transient vendors last year when we first started talking about this, and kind of the confusion that was going on with a lot of residents in the neighborhoods about our previous resolution that was in place, and then finding out that it was outdated and some things like that, having to go through and think through all of those things. So I know that was a lot of work, but I'm grateful for us to be able to get something in place that we can give people clarity, which is going to be key with that. So thankful for that, and for us being able to move forward on those things. That's all.
All right, Trustee Thein.
I don't really have a whole lot, so just everybody enjoy the new weather coming up.
I just wanted to reflect back over the last week. We had Youth and Government Day. Erica and her staff did a great job. High school kids were very interested. Great day overall. So just a thank you goes out to Optimist Club for hosting and the school district as well, the credit unions for sponsoring, and all the support that I failed to mention. Because there is so much that goes into that program. Also, just wanted to remind everyone that Thursday, May 1st, we will have National Day of Prayer at First Light Church in Vandalia from 8 to 10:15. See you then. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to pay the bills of the township.
I'll second.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Thein,
Yes.
Ms. Pruszynski.
Yes. Right. And we'll at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.